The Osage Nation Ranch in Pawhuska recently received the State Conservationist of the Year award for their efforts to restore the 43,000-acre property, which is now home to some just-arrived four-legged furry friends. Reporter Kennedy Sepulvedo joins us with more on that. Kennedy.
That's right, Rich, and those furry friends are also known as bison. They had quite the travel from the Bronx Zoo in New York to the Osage Nation Ranch, which transformed from brush and weed-filled lands to grass that is ready for grazing. The Osage Nation Ranch was nominated for the Conservationist of the Year award in late 2021. The title was bestowed upon them in February of this year for the ranch crew's work in collaboration with the National Resources Conservation Service to restore the land.
The best way to put it would probably be being good stewards of the land. The ranch was in pretty poor shape when they bought it, and we actually, when I say did a 180, it's like we have actually turned it around. We did a lot of spraying, a lot of work, a lot of money, which, you know, like I said, the NRCS helped us a lot with that.
Even though the ranch has made a complete turnaround from its prior state, Mike says his team has more work to do before the ranch is where he wants it to be.
We're actually going to work on some ponds this year through the NRCS as well. Even after we got the award, we're still going to continue to do what we need to do for the land. If anybody's seen this before and see it now, it's a definite, it's actually a physical change. You can actually see it.
6 new bison joined the herd of 190 bison roaming the reformed land. The bison came from the Bronx Zoo, which has a long history of breeding bison for reintroduction.
In fact, the very first reintroduction took place here in Oklahoma when we sent 15 bison to the Wichita Reserve Bison Refuge.
That first reintroduction effort was 115 years ago when Oklahoma was barely a state and the bison were on the brink of extinction with just 300 left in North America. A stark difference from the estimated 60 million bison that roamed the plains and the grasslands in North America prior to the 19th century. As European settlers discovered the trade possibilities, that number began to dwindle. At the time, the elimination of the bison was also encouraged by the American government in an attempt to starve plain Indians like the Osage of their primary food source. The Bronx Zoo's bison helped tell the story of the near extinction of the wild animal, but the zoo felt they could do more than just share the history.
But about 10 years ago, we decided that we wanted to do more with our bison and actually have our animals participate in conservation programs. So we had a very focused breeding program where we tried to breed pure bison with a specific intent of being able to reintroduce them or use them in restoration programs. In the early 1900s, ranchers tried breeding bison to domestic cows to create a hardier, larger beef cow. And while that effort was fairly short-lived, the effects of that effort were not.
The Osage Nation began bringing bison to the ranch after the nation bought the 43,000 acres 6 years ago. There are just under 200 bison on the ranch today, and that number might increase if any new calves are born this week.
So our original herd that we got from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife back when we bought the ranch, it's some of the Yellowstone is what their bloodline is, and that group is almost as pure as you can get as well. And then now we have the Bronx coming in to add diversity to our species and everything, and the ecological impact that the bison have had as well, are going to have as well, is just immeasurable.
As the bison herd is growing, the Osage Nation and local colleges could study the ecological impact of the animals throughout the years.
Measure their actual impact, what the changes are from the vegetation standpoint ecologically to how they improve it over the years.
The bison is a symbol of strength for the Osage people.
And now that it's returning, I really believe it's going to translate to strengthening the Osage people. And I saw that when we first brought the bison in a few years ago. One of our elders stepped into the pen, which I thought was very risky, and he began to pray and welcome them back, welcome the bison back. He prayed in Osage. And they all lined up. They all lined up like they were an audience for him. And I said, I know we're on the right path.
The Osage people used to hunt bison. The last hunt was in the 1860s, when there were roughly 5 million spread out across North America.
I know my great-grandfather, Fred Lookout, was on that hunt as a young man, and he passed that story down about how difficult it was even then to find the bison because they'd already been slaughtered.
Now, Chief Jeffrey Standing Bear is just happy to have the bison back on Osage land.
And we want to restore the herd has not been with us since the 1860s.
The Osage Nation's collaboration with the Bronx Zoo doesn't just end here. Chief Standing Bear says they plan to partner with the zoo in the future to further expand the bison conservation efforts.